Sister ridiculed my vehicle, mocked me openly, declared this gathering's for kin only. Ethan Cole, a 34-year-old man, had been driving for 8 grueling hours through December's icy snow. My hands sore from gripping the wheel as I navigated winding mountain roads to reach my sister Melissa's house. The radio blared repetitive New Year's Eve countdown tunes, but my growing anticipation drowned them out. This was my first family reunion in 3 years, and I convinced myself things might finally feel normal again. Melissa had texted that morning to confirm my attendance and asked me to bring a specific brand of champagne. I'd scoured 4 stores to find the exact one she wanted, a nod to happier times when our family felt close-knit. The back seat of my car was piled with gifts I'd meticulously selected over weeks, wrapped in paper matching her requested decor theme. As I pulled into her driveway, the GPS announced my arrival, and her sprawling house loomed large compared to my modest apartment across the state. Her husband Travis Bennett's sleek luxury car shone in the garage, a stark reminder of the financial gap that had grown between us. I grabbed the champagne and a few smaller gifts, planning to bring the rest inside once welcomed. Melissa opened the door almost instantly, as if she'd been watching for me. But instead of the warm embrace I'd expected, she burst into laughter, cold, mocking, not joyful. She said the party was for family only, her tone dripping with the dismissive edge I remembered from childhood spats. Her words hit like a punch, especially after she'd spent months urging me to make the trip for their annual bash. I stood there, clutching the champagne and gifts like a spurned salesman, waiting for her to explain or soften her stance. But her cruel smirk stayed fixed, daring me to respond. After 30 seconds of silence, I turned, walked back to my car, and tossed the champagne onto the passenger seat. It rolled around as I sped out of the driveway, the gifts in the back now feeling like foolish tokens of my misplaced trust. 20 minutes down the road, my phone buzzed. At a red light, I glanced at it, hoping for an apology. Instead, it was a text from Travis, clearly meant for someone else. It called me a loser for showing up, followed by laughing emojis and jabs at my appearance and my rundown car. He'd accidentally sent it to me. I pulled into a gas station lot, rereading the message 3 times, each word fueling a mix of humiliation and fury. Their casual cruelty and evident pre-arrival mockery clarified everything. Sitting there, snow piling up around my car, I grinned, not from amusement, but from realizing the power I'd unknowingly held. For 6 years since our parents, Robert and Elaine Cole, passed, I'd been quietly funding much of Melissa's lifestyle. It started as temporary help during her grief, covering house payments and personal expenses. What began as a short-term gesture became a permanent, unspoken arrangement. I paid for her car insurance, phone bill, and sent monthly transfers to offset Travis's inconsistent freelance income. The amounts grew as their lifestyle expanded, but I never questioned it. She was my only family. With my phone in hand, I saw I controlled it all. Banking apps, utility accounts, passwords I'd set up, and subscriptions I'd added her to without a second thought. I started with the car insurance, logging in and removing her vehicle from my policy with a few taps. Her coverage would lapse at midnight on New Year's Day unless she acted fast. Next, I canceled her and Travis's phone lines from my family plan, knowing their service would cut off soon. The bank transfers, totaling $2,400 monthly, took more effort to stop, but I worked through them as snow coated my windshield. I'd been funding their Netflix, Spotify, Amazon Prime, and other streaming services they'd casually requested over time. Each cancellation brought a small thrill, knowing they'd lose access soon. I also cut their home security system, cloud storage, and premium food delivery service, roughly $3,500 a month in total, all unacknowledged. The silence in my car felt lighter, empowering. I drove home through worsening weather, stopping at a cafe for coffee and a sandwich. The waitress, cheerful despite the near-empty diner, asked about my New Year's plans and noted the snow on my car. I said I'd changed plans and was heading back early, which she accepted with a smile. She refilled my coffee twice, unrushed, though she likely wanted to start her own celebrations. Back at my apartment, it felt smaller but calmer. I watched old movies, ate Chinese takeout, and checked my phone occasionally. The first missed call came at 11:45 p.m., 15 minutes before the new year. Melissa's name flashed, followed by 2 more calls. Travis tried next, then both alternated into the night. I powered off my phone and slept soundly, their frantic attempts buzzing in the background. By morning, I had 72 missed calls from Melissa, Travis, and unfamiliar numbers. Voicemails ranged from confused to angry to panicked as they realized what I'd done. Melissa's final text, sent early that morning, said we needed to talk. I made breakfast, sipped coffee, and replied that family is for family, mirroring her words, and that I'd focus on those who valued me. Her response rambled about misunderstandings and claimed I'd overreacted to a joke. I told her Travis's text clarified their true feelings, and I was done being their unappreciated ATM. The calls resumed, but I was already planning a New Year's Day treat, a nice meal and a movie in a nearby city, the start of a freer life. Update 1. Melissa's surprise visit 5 days later, Melissa showed up at my apartment. I watched from my window as she sat in her car for 20 minutes, likely strategizing. Her knocks grew insistent when I didn't answer immediately. When I opened the door, she looked worn, her usual polish replaced by desperation. She asked to talk, and I let her in, curious about her approach. She apologized for New Year's Eve, blaming hosting stress and claiming my visit was unexpected. I pointed out I'd confirmed multiple times. She shifted, saying she was shielding me from some vague family drama. When I mentioned Travis's text, she said he was drunk and didn't mean it. She avoided mentioning the financial support, assuming I was only upset about the rejection. When she asked how to move past this misunderstanding, I said I was content with my new normal, redirecting my resources to my own goals. Her face paled as I detailed the years of unacknowledged aid. She called it a punishment. I called it a reallocation to those who valued me. She cycled through guilt, anger, and promises of change over 90 minutes, but I stood firm. Update 2. Ripple effects 3 weeks into January, Travis's mother, Margaret Bennett, called, saying Melissa had asked her family for help with unexpected bills and gave my number. I politely said Melissa and I had set financial boundaries, and they were now handling their own expenses. Margaret sensed there was more but didn't push. She mentioned Melissa's recent tension and asked if she could help. I suggested financial counseling, as they'd been living beyond their means. Meanwhile, mutual friends, fed by Melissa's victim narrative, reached out. I met one, Jenna Myers, who was shocked to learn about my financial support, which Melissa never mentioned. Jenna tried to arrange a talk, but I declined, having heard enough. Update 3. Travis's plea and Melissa's letter in February, Travis called, apologizing for his text and asking for partial financial help to recover. I appreciated the apology, but said the text confirmed my suspicions about their view of me. I asked how long they'd mocked my appearance, car, and support. His silence spoke volumes. He admitted to occasional kind comments, but I ended the call, wishing them well without my aid. Later, Melissa sent a 4-page letter, blending childhood memories with regret for their actions. She detailed their financial struggles, but still pushed for renewed support. I read it twice, filed it away, and didn't respond, valuing respect over need. 4 months later, I'd moved to a bigger apartment, bought a reliable car, and started an emergency fund. I took weekend trips and rediscovered hobbies, free from their burden. Melissa and I haven't spoken since, and I've learned family can mean those who truly respect you, not just share your blood. Title. They claimed Christmas was off, so I ate leftovers alone, unable to afford their big bash. Ethan Miller, a 35-year-old man, believed family trumped money and lies, but my sister Rachel proved otherwise on the coldest Christmas Eve I'd ever faced. On December 20, a text from Rachel hit my phone while I was finishing work. She said Christmas was canceled. Everyone was too broke for the usual big gathering at her place, a tradition for 9 years. Disappointed but understanding, I figured we'd have a quiet holiday. Christmas Eve found me alone in my apartment, reheating 2-day-old lo mein. The silence was heavy, broken only by distant neighborly cheers. Rachel's house had always been our holiday hub, packed with cousins, aunts, uncles, and chaotic chatter. Without it, the day felt hollow. At 9 p.m., scrolling my phone, I saw my 18-year-old niece Lily go live on Instagram. I tapped in and my heart sank. Her camera swept across Rachel's living room, brimming with familiar faces, our entire extended family, dressed up, laughing, holding crystal champagne glasses. A professional DJ spun tracks where the old piano once stood, and the table groaned under catered dishes, far from our usual potluck. Lily beamed, describing the surprise Christmas bash they'd planned for months. Rachel, in a chic outfit, sipped expensive wine, chatting with our cousin Mark Bennett. I watched for 25 minutes, my lo mein forgotten. Everyone who'd claimed poverty was there, reveling in a costly, meticulously planned party. They'd lied to exclude me. The betrayal stung, but anger grew stronger. Rachel and I had a rocky history, but I'd been her rock for 4 years, covering rent, groceries, even car repairs when her transmission died. She'd always thanked me, stressing how much my help meant. Yet it came with deception. Christmas passed quietly, no one reached out, and my absence went unnoticed. I replayed our recent interactions, questioning her tales of financial woe. She'd leaned harder on me lately, citing rent struggles and single mom hardships. I'd believed her, never suspecting lies. On December 28, Rachel texted, asking for the usual $3,200 for rent and utilities, claiming her landlord, Mr. Hughes, was strict about late payments. That sum, a chunk of my income, I'd given willingly, thinking I was helping family. But after seeing her lavish party, her request felt like a slap. I stared at the text for 10 minutes before replying, "Delete my number. I don't fund liars." I blocked her phone and social media, then canceled the automatic bank transfer. I also blocked other family members complicit in the lie. By morning, I had 21 missed calls from various relatives. Rachel left a voicemail from an unknown number, sounding frantic, claiming a misunderstanding and begging me to call back to avoid eviction. I deleted it. Update 1. Persistent attempts calls continued for a week from unblocked numbers. Cousin Mark Bennett texted, calling my reaction an overreach to a mistake. Aunt Carol Bennett, using her husband's phone, claimed the party was a last-minute surprise. But the Instagram live showed weeks of planning, DJ, catering, decor. No spur-of-the-moment event. Rachel's ex, Tom Parker, called, revealing he'd been asked to chip in for the party in November, and it was adults only. His confusion about my exclusion confirmed my role. A wallet, not family. On January 3, Rachel appeared at my building. The doorman called, but I refused to see her. She lingered in the lobby for 3 hours, texting from a new number about eviction risks. I watched her leave, feeling cold satisfaction. Update 2. Consequences unfold 4 weeks into January. Lily called my office, crying. They'd been evicted and were moving in with her grandmother. She asked why I was punishing her mom. I explained gently that Rachel's dishonesty about the party and finances broke my trust. I told Lily I loved her and would help with school or emergencies, but not her mother's household. She seemed to grasp it, sensing gaps in the adult story. By February, Rachel and Lily had relocated to our parents' smaller home 45 minutes away. Lily switched schools mid-year, a temporary move likely to last. I felt for Lily but not enough to resume funding lies. Update 3. Shifting dynamics in March, my parents, Linda and Robert Miller, invited me to Sunday dinner with Rachel and others to clear the air. I declined, saying I'd seen enough of their true colors. My mother seemed shocked I wouldn't reconcile over a meal. Distancing myself brought peace. I stopped worrying about others' crises. I spent the money I'd given Rachel on myself. Better meals, a gym membership, a long-delayed vacation. In April, Mark proposed an Easter gathering, claiming Rachel was ready to apologize. I passed, preferring a quiet weekend with pizza. Lily texted in June about college acceptances with partial scholarships. I sent a gift and offered to cover educational gaps directly, not through Rachel. Her message, proud of my boundaries, meant more than any family event. In June, I ran into Rachel at a grocery store near our parents' place. She looked weary but surprised to see me. She admitted planning the party while taking my money, ashamed of her reliance, but excluding me to avoid guilt. I forgave her, but stressed that forgiveness didn't mean returning to old patterns. We now talk occasionally, meeting at chosen family events. The money requests stopped, making our interactions more genuine. Lily started college, and I support her directly. That uninvited Christmas taught me to prioritize respect over obligation, showing me where I truly stand. Thank you for watching my story. If you enjoyed it, Please subscribe and press the bell icon. Stay tuned for more real life stories, get more experiences.